Hello everyone, this is Maureen and welcome to My Crochet Story. Today is Wednesday, September the 4th, and I am so happy that you are here to see what my little amigurumis have been up to. But before I get into that, let me say I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. You know, it's the middle of the week, and I know that we just had a holiday, which means, guys, 4-day week. Isn't that awesome? I think it is. Anyway, before I get to showing you what my little critters have been up to, let me remind each and every one of you that there is a like button down there. If you don't mind going ahead and clicking it, leaving me your little thumbprint, and share this video out. I'm sure there is someone who would love to see amigurumis that have conversations with their creator. And let me tell you what, guys, I have had quite a conversation with these two little munchkins, is what I want to call them at the moment. But before I show you them, let me tell you about my Holy Night Nativity set. Now, as many of you know, I have been working on that just a little bit at a time. Sorry, I thought it had it sitting right here, but it was the wrong pattern. So many of you know that I've been working on this wonderful little nativity crocheted set of the nativity set. I do have baby Jesus done. I have the lambs done. And so somebody suggested, Maureen, you might want to work on the boxes for a little bit. So that's what I'm doing. And anyway, so I started working on the boxes, and yes, I've gotten quite a few more of the front and back panels here done. And I don't know if I mentioned, because I didn't take a minute to go back and look at my previous video, but I had to rewrite. I just did, folks. I had to rewrite the pattern for this here. I don't know what's wrong with it, or maybe it's something wrong with me. Who knows? Anyway, I altered the pattern to give me the dimensions that I needed, and to make sure that my corners here started out in the pattern the way they're supposed to. And that's where I was having the biggest problem. I don't know if someone typed it up wrong, maybe got ahead of themselves, maybe skipped a couple of rows. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I just couldn't make it work as the pattern has it written. So I did send an email to the creator, Laura Sutcliffe, on it, and just told her, I said, please tell me what I'm doing wrong. Followed your pattern, but I had to alter it, and this is what I did for me. So I haven't heard anything back yet, and quite honestly, I'm sure that she is working on patterns and having so much, you know, other things going on, because when you create beautiful things like this, it takes a while. So hopefully she can shoot it off to someone else who had a more detailed hand in writing up her pattern for her, and see. Like I said, it could very well be me. Maybe I'm misreading the instructions, but if I am, maybe it needs to be clarified a little bit in there. Anyhow, that's my take, my input, and I'm entitled to it, so I'm just sharing that with you. But I do have enough to make 1.5 boxes, because, no, wait a minute, I have 6, so I have enough to make the front and the back of 3 boxes. Now I just need to go back in a white or a cream. I haven't made up my mind yet which one I'm going to use. This here says a white for the covers, but then it uses a cream for the little baskets. So I may just do it all cream. Anyhow, I have to make the backs to go into these, and then we'll put a 7-count canvas, plastic canvas in between them, and I'll be ready to do that. But I do have enough to at least do the front and back of the 3 boxes. But that's all I've done on the nativity set. Now, my little fairies, let me tell you, they've been in timeout for a little over a week, and let me tell you why. They have taken on the attitude of the cross between a 2-year-old and a teenager who thinks they're an adult. All right? So I have little Mr. Ornery over here, Oscar, and I have little Miss Sassy Pants, Hannah, over here. And they were being royal toots as far as I'm concerned, because now I told you in the beginning that Oscar, his original name was Elm, but he does not like to be called Elm the tree elf. He wanted a more stand-outish name, so he chose Oscar. Anyway, so if you remember, Oscar did not like these little breeches here. Let me see if I can fold this so you can see it without seeing, won't get myself in trouble there. He didn't like them plaid breeches. He said, I am not going to be caught dead in those plaid breeches. And I said, okay, well then what do you want? So he thought about it, and just the other day he told me, he says, Mama, I want some blue jean shorts. You're a tree elf and you want some blue jean shorts. And I said, okay, why did you pick the color blue? He said, because it's like the sky and I like sitting all the way up in the tree. And I said, okay. Well, can I make one little suggestion? I don't know, would. And I said, well, how about we still keep with the colorway blue, but what if we mixed in a little bit of brown, so it'll kind of look like a tree branch way up there in the top, and maybe a little white to signify some clouds that are up in the sky, so that it breaks it up, so that you're not just this one big chunk of blue sitting up there. He wasn't going to have any of it. He wanted blue denim shorts. I said, okay. But just remember, if you have on this big old blotch of blue, humans are going to be able to see you up there. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to want to set a trap, because people would love to have their own little fairy. That made him stop and think for just a minute. Yeah, I don't want to get captured. Can I see this yarn that you're talking about? I said, sure. So what I had in mind was this beautiful skein. Now, many of you may recognize this. This is Red Heart, the Granny Square yarn. And see all these colors in here? I said, look, Oscar, it's going to make up to where you're not solid. You're going to have some, like camo. Well, he'd already told me way in the beginning that he wasn't going to be wearing any camo, because to him that's a hunter, and he's not a hunter. And he doesn't want to be hunted, which kind of helped with when I told him, if you have this big old blotch of blue on your booty, you're going to be seen. So I said, well, let me see. So I made up his little shorts. Let me show you. And, really, really easy. Didn't take me any time at all. So this is what we came up with. Oops, that's my yarn for sewing it onto his body here in a little while. But there are the little shorts, and look how cute that made up. Isn't that cute? Look at that. And there's his little legs, which was an unusual, I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. But look at that. See, it breaks it up a lot more. Probably not as quite as I would have liked for it to be, but it's okay. I mean, it turned out better than a big old blob of blue sitting up there in the tree, don't you think? I mean, it has the browns in there, and it has some different shades of blue, and it's got a little bit of the brown, which I told him, could look like dying leaves, or, and then of course here's a lighter brown, which to me would signify new branches being created there. But this was just one big old tube as I was crocheting it around and around and around and around. And then what we did was we came down here at the bottom, and we just split it in half and tacked it. That's all we did. Yep, no little scoop out or nothing. And I'll tell you something else I did on the bottom here. I was just supposed to slip stitch around, and that was it. And I thought, well, man, you put in all this work and everything, and I realize it's just back loop single crochets, but still, let's fancy it up just a little bit. And he agreed, so Maureen, she loves her crab stitch. So that's what I finished off the bottom of his little shorts with. Gives it a little texture and character, I think. So what we'll do now is we will take this, and once he is stuffed, now folks, believe me, it's going to work because I did count the number of stitches. There are 48 stitches around here where his belly marking is, and there are 46 stitches here. And that's the way it's supposed to come out. So even though they're both laying down and it doesn't look like he's going to make it, you got to remember, this is going to be stuffed. This is his body. It's going to get stuffed. His little belly's going to balloon, and his boo-boo's going to, or excuse me, his booty's going to balloon. Doesn't have a boo-boo. But his little booty's going to balloon. So yes, by the time I get him all stuffed and ready to go and I slip these little breeches on him, yeah, it won't be any problem at all. So I was able to work with. And I was able to finish off his little hat, his little beanie. Look at that. Now, there's supposed to be some little leaves that go up here on the top. And he wasn't having any of that. He said no. To him, it reminded him of a bow. So I said, okay. And let me show you one more time his picture, because we had to do another little altercation, because alteration, not altercation. Mercy, my words. He wasn't real fond of just the straight down beanie. Now see the little brown leaves up there at the top? To him, he said it looked like a bow, and he wasn't going to be wearing a bow because he's a little boy. And I said, okay, that's fine. So anyway, he didn't like the straight down beanie. There we go. And it does have some little double crochet clusters to go around the brim there to give it, you know, a little bit of style and stuff. And he just wasn't having anything to do with it. He said he just didn't like it. So I stayed with the basic pattern and made him just a regular little beanie with a little curl up, and he likes that a lot better. Now, I was trying to talk him into, if nothing else, let's put a little pom-pom up here. No, still too girly. And I said, okay, then I guess we'll just leave the top all pulled together like that. Now, if I wanted to, I guess I could go ahead and just turn it around, which I showed this to him too, and I like this much better. But he's kind of got it in his mind that he's afraid that might make him look too much like a pumpkin head. I don't know, we're going to see. But it's going to go one way or the other, but it still gives him a nice little roll-up brim, which is what he wanted on his hat. So you know what? Since he compromised on the shorts, I figured I could compromise on his hat one way or the other. Now, let's talk about little Miss Sassy Pants, Hannah. I didn't get a thing done on her, and let me tell you why. Oh yes, no, let me back up. I did get something crocheted for her. Now, as many of you know, she has this cute little flower that's going to be upside down on top of her head. Very, very cute, very easy to put together. I mean, just single crochets and then a lot of little scallop work there around the edge, and that's it. I need to sew in my tails here. I haven't, and this will attach to her head. So I thought, since her little flower had this peach color, that we ought to do that with her dress as well. Nope, not her. She's not having it. I was like, okay, then what would you like to have? Well, I don't know. At first she was thinking some tulle. And I was like, sweetheart, that's going to get caught on every little blade of grass that you walk through. If you lean up against the bark of a tree, that's going to pull on it, put holes in it. And I mean, okay, no tulle. Whew. Dodge that bullet. So then we get to looking at colors. And like I said, I thought that if we, let me pull her up here so you can get a good look at her little dress, remind you what it looks like. There we go. See how the little flower up here matches the color of her skirt here, and then the ruffles are in two different colors. You can't tell them there, but anyway, so I was thinking, what if we use the peach and some cream and a hot pink to set it off with the ruffles? So let me show you the color combination I came up with. And like I said, I thought that it would just be adorable. Now, peach for the main body of the dress, pink to set off that ruffle, and then a little white to go in to set it, to separate it. So this would be the dress, a little bit of white there, and then the pink on the ruffle. I thought that would be so pretty. She'd be a fancy, smancy little girl. No. She said the peach does not go with the pink. Okay. So I said, well, what about then a whole cream colored dress and the pink on the ruffle? No. All right, Miss Sassy Pants, then what is it that you would like to have? She wants red. Can you believe that? She wants red. I said, no. This is one time Mama stepping in and saying, no, you are not old enough to be wearing a red dress. Now, side note here. My mother believed that there were certain colors that you could wear not only during the seasons. You didn't wear black in the spring and the summer, and you didn't wear white after Labor Day. So, anyway, 2, red was not supposed to be worn until you were at least 13, 14 years of age. That's kind of stuck with me. All right, that's just one of those little side note things. And I told her, I said, no, you are not wearing red. Number one, I think it will clash an awful lot with your hair. Okay, that's the first thing. And the second thing, can you imagine a red dress with a pink rose or this peachy rose flower here? I said, no, we're not doing that. So she and I, at the moment, are at a standstill. And I told her, I said, I'll tell you just like I used to tell my girls when they were growing up. I can outlast you. I can sit here and wait until you make up your mind what it is that you want, or until you will at least listen to reason. You know what I mean? So, little Miss Sassy Pants here, Hannah, is in a state of hovering, I guess you could say, or just helicoptering, or no, not helicoptering. What would it be? Like the airplanes, how they get stuck up in the air, circling, waiting to land? Well, that's what she's doing. So until she comes to me with a little bit better attitude, she's going to have to take a back seat to Oscar, because at least I could reason with him. With her, I haven't been able to. So anyway, that's my progress so far. I probably shared just a little bit too much with you about my little amigurumi critters at the moment, but you know what? Kind of have to, so that you can see what it is I'm struggling with. Now, I did promise Hannah that I would ask you, if you watch the video to this point, please leave a comment as to what you think would look good on little Miss Hannah if she's not going to stick with a cream and pink color palette. What do you think? Should we go a totally different direction? And don't anybody say red. Please don't anybody say red. Okay, that's all I ask. If you're going to leave a comment down there of some color suggestions, don't say red. All right, folks, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping in and seeing my progress with my little fairies and my nativity set. Thank you all again. Like I said, please always remember, be the light out there in the darkness for someone today, because you never know, could really, really, really be your light they're waiting to see. I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.